filled, and there are a bunch of those things I can delete, especially if we've already. Now, Vincent, a good question. When I delete it off the cloud here, if you post it someplace else, it doesn't go away, does it?
Yeah, the cloud, it resides in the cloud, and if it's just pulled from the cloud, it leaves everywhere else.
So if I take it out, I've only got 83%. I've got 83%. If I take it out of my recording, then it'll disappear. Well, so I just need to
you're
expand.
deleting.
I'm going to need to expand then, right?
That or if it's a video, I can put it on YouTube, right? And you can clean out your.
Oh, well, maybe that's what we need to do, Vincent. That when we do this in the future, maybe that's what we do is we just automatically switch them onto the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's I think the best way.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you do that. Let me just touch base on a couple things, and then we'll get started. We're going to start doing this regularly on Tuesday mornings. We're going to just go back to the AHA class as normal, and then starting next week at 10:30, Carl and Jay are going to do their virtual open house tour. We talked about doing it today, but it was just too close to the last one. And I think Carl was very relieved when I sent him a message saying, hey, let's hold off a week. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, if you've got new listings, coming up, or Vincent, you see agents who are putting new listings on, encourage them to get with Carl so that we can make that, it's kind of back to normal. You do a AHA class, and I know some of you immediately left AHA and went out to broker opens. That's sort of my mindset, is that Carl and Jay will just kind of take on that at 10:30, and we'll just make that 9:30 to 11:30 slot for that. And
can I do a live broker open house?
Excuse me?
Can I do a live broker open house next week?
Yeah, sure.
With kind of Carl involved in this? Can I do that?
Yeah, I don't see why not. We can try that.
That'd be great.
For sure.
Yeah, I have a listing coming up in Bumpus. So
okay,
we need all the help we can get. So
hang on a second. I've got there's Logan coming in. Other Logan.
Logan, my two
Logans.
Yeah. So let's talk about that from a logistical standpoint as to how that would work. Maybe what we could do, Yona, is maybe you reach out to Carl on your own.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reach out to Carl and let him know.
And maybe talk to Carl about the first half an hour, 45 minutes. It's the normal going through it.
Yeah.
But then the last of it would be a live one. That would be kind of fun. And we can.
If I can get Wi-Fi out there, and I know that the owner doesn't have Wi-Fi, so that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, give that a try. So anyway, so AHA on Tuesdays mornings at 9:30. We'll do the broker open at 10:30. Yona's going to be doing the Throwback Thursdays on Thursday. So we're trying to get back into a rhythm of just what we're normally doing. That doesn't mean that you can't, be texting me or calling me or texting Yona or calling Yona or texting Vincent and calling, all that's the same. But we're going to try to get into a kind of a routine of our own stuff. And then, as I shared in the video yesterday, Mary's weekly memo will kind of be the be all and end all on Mondays in regards to what's coming up for the week. And as we were talking about before some of you came on this morning, you've got Google Calendar. If you get if you go onto something and register, it's going to be in your Google Calendar. You find the links right there. The Agent Only Facebook page is another place. And what I thought would be fun to do starting out this morning, because I know I haven't done it, maybe some of you all have, is I'm going to have Vincent take over the screen, and he's going to walk us through the agent portal as to how do you go on there. Yeah, there you go. There's nothing up my sleeves or under my hat. Oh yeah, there's a lot under my hat. I forgot. But I just want him to, share the screen so you guys can see how that works, but also just from how you sign on and the information that's there for you. So Vincent, take it away.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. So I created a page, the Agent Hub, for us to have all the information in one place, so we're not sifting through emails and texts and all this information coming at us. So we can just go there. It will always be there. Michael has been doing kind of like a weekly video message, okay? And I put that in the hub, the calendar, and then various training resources and client testimonial links and things like that, all in one place. And I'm adding the Dropbox documents slowly. So all that will be in one place. You don't have to go to Dropbox anymore and all that stuff.
Thank you.
So let me share this. Yeah, let me share the
Thank
screen
you for
here.
the technically challenged. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Roy Wheeler?
Yep.
All right. So you come up here, the URL is roywheeler.com/hub. You can type that in, or you can come over here to About Us and Agent Hub right here. And so that happens. It is password protected. The password is what?
Since 1927.
That's right. Okay, so here we are. Michael's message is here. Hit play. There's a superstar right there. If you scroll down, here is the Google Calendar.
Oh, awesome.
Everyone that has access to this. Okay, so I invited the whole brokerage to have access to this. So if you are creating an event or creating a Zoom meeting, I'll show you how to add that to this calendar. It's very easy. If you're in Google Calendar, if you use the Google Calendar. Do we all use that? I use that. Yona, you? No?
I have to. I have to.
Okay.
I'm married to a Google Calendar freak. I have to.
Yeah, I use Microsoft Outlook, and it pulls things off the Google Calendar onto my calendar. Does that
Okay,
make
but
sense?
this goes the other. You can always just send me the details, and I'll put it in for you. That
Okay.
helps a little. But
All right.
if you are using Google Calendar, this is how easy it is. So here's my Google Calendar. Here's today's AHA meeting. I open that up, and if you hit this, it says copy to Roy Wheeler Agent Hub. I just hit that, and all the information in the event goes right into the communal calendar. Okay, so that's that. That's how easy that is.
But this is from your Google Calendar.
Yeah, you have
From
access
my
to this as
Google
well.
Calendar.
But yeah, but if you don't want to do that, you could just email me your event with a Zoom link and what it's called, and I'll post it for you.
Okay,
It's not,
thank you.
it's not hard.
I need to
Yeah,
practice.
sure.
I need to practice.
Yeah. So as we scroll down the page, this is where all the training and the memo, the weekly memo is here. You click on the green bar and it expands. These are 5 weeks. There'll be 5 weeks of weekly memos in case you want to go back and see. I don't know if there's a purpose for that, but the most current is at the top. So you click that and a new window opens. And here is Mary's memo that she just sent out. It also has a lot of the same information, but it's a good reference, right?
Yes.
Yes, very much
Great.
So there's that.
so. I love that.
Here is kind of Roy Wheeler resources, a link to the agent Facebook page, client testimonial link, what you would send your, I have to work on some formatting here, I see, but you'd send this link to your client so they can post a testimonial on the site.
Nice.
Here's Dropbox with the username and password, which I got to fix all this. Here are links for reviews for Zillow and Realtor.com and how to do that. It's a little instruction on how to do that. Moving down, you just click the next bar. Here's this is a direct. Here's our YouTube channel. Here is our AHA playlist. Every meeting on AHA that is recorded, I place into a playlist. You'll see this is the last one that we kind of did with John. But you'll see up here, there's 25 videos. So if you click that, you're going to see all of the AHAs in one spot. So it's good to have everything in one spot. You don't have to go searching for it. You can watch it here, or you can watch it on, if you click to the playlist, it'll take you to YouTube. And here's leading RE information. This is constantly being updated with more information. Certain folks are like, I would like to see this here, so I'll try to put it in there. Here's a little bit of Zoom training. This is kind of the basics. And then this is Zoom's tutorial link, which you need to relink. There's a lot of little things I need to work on here still.
Nice.
Association resources here. And then a virtual open house guide for Facebook Live. This is quite long. It's got a lot of best practices and things like that. So that is basically the hub.
Wow.
And
That's
if
awesome.
you see anything in
Nice
there
job.
that you'd like if you'd like to see anything else in there, just let me know and I'll add it. Trying to keep a place for all agents to go that is just uniformed and efficient, right? So because I'm always getting texts during these meetings like, where's the link? I can't get in. Where's the link? What time's the meeting? So now we have a place. So
Perfect.
I will turn it back over to Michael.
Thank you,
Any
Vincent.
question?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Any questions on that?
I do. The NAR
Mhm.
video, have you had a chance to see it yet? Is it worth watching?
I have not.
Okay. I'm going to try to, this is on my goal list today for this week. I need to
Okay.
figure this out. Okay.
Okay. I'll check that out too, and we can get together
I'm
and
sure
talk
you have
about it.
other things to do. I'll get into it.
I'm here. Here we go. I'm out.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Vince. Thank you.
Good job,
Thank you.
Vincent.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias.
Yes.
Yeah,
De nada.
absolutely. And I mean, not only, good morning, Becky.
Hi.
Not only is that agent portal, does it have everything there, but it's just so easy. I mean, it just flows so easily. You can find everything that you're looking for there. And so as you're talking to other agents who, express a concern, I'm looking for this or whatever, please remind them about that, including, the previous AHA classes, because there's a lot of good training in there in regards to, as you're just scrolling down, the listing overviews and things like that. And Vincent, not to put you on the spot, because these folks don't know that we're working on it, but bring them up to date a little bit on the digital listing presentation that we're working on, so that you can literally do a listing presentation via Zoom by sharing the screen.
Oh, us?
Yeah. So I'm before the lockdown, one of my things was to get the print version in place, revising the listing presentation that we currently have, and I have it designed, but Susan Rears was working on the edits, so she has the only copy. So I'm sending her all the text that I have, and she's going to give the edits, and I'm going to make a kind of a mini web page. So when you are doing a listing presentation via Zoom, you can share a screen with another tab open that is this website that is our listing presentation. So it's kind of a leave behind link for your potential client, as well as you can kind of use it as a script as well. So it's just like you would have it in print, but it's just online. So
Would we do this the same way you just shared the screen with us?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could literally, you'd sit there and why Roy Wheeler and the way, things on marketing, things like that. And then once they said, yeah, that sounds good, you could literally have ready the listing agreement to share and to walk through those things. The same thing you could do with exclusive right to represent. And you could literally, set up a Zoom meeting and then walk through just like you would a regular listing presentation. Obviously, you want to practice doing it, but if it's a seller that you're getting the listing, right? It's not they're calling you and say, I want to list my house. Well, what I would do is I would use them as a practice. I would say, okay, let's set up a Zoom meeting, and I just want to walk through some basic things with you before I electronically send you over this listing agreement. And you could literally practice with them on sharing that screen and, again, failing forward. It may not work exactly the way you want, but it's somebody that you want to be ready. So when it is they're talking to 3 agents and you can tell them you can do this and the other 2 agents didn't give them that opportunity, that could be the differentiator right there, to show that you're, cutting edge and doing things differently and trying to, help them through this. Now, as we talked about earlier, hopefully, we're peaking as it relates to the COVID-19, especially in Virginia. I've got Lisa Sturdivant, who's going to be on my show Saturday morning, the chief economist for Virginia Realtor Association. And she and I recorded the radio show yesterday. It's going to be really good. She's delightful. But she said, and it ended up being confirmed in the news last night, that there's some in Virginia saying that the peak is this week, that we'll begin to see the apex and the flattening. And we've already started seeing the flattening, but the literally decreasing. And I was talking with another friend this morning Mark Lorenzani from the Ragged Mountain Running Club,
Shop, yeah.
and he said that that he had heard the same thing. We were both just feeling so grateful that thankfully in Charlottesville it has not ramped up in any way like they thought it would, and so we just got to keep our fingers crossed and hoping that everybody continues to be safe and smart as they sort of begin to venture out and experience this new normal whenever it is that we're allowed to do that. But anyway, the point being is this is just another thing that hopefully will help you, especially for those of you that are staying home, to say, I can still do business. I can, who was it? John Updike yesterday, and a shout out to Tom Nolke, by the way. You see Tom, give him a pat on the back. He was at the Old Trail office yesterday and had a walk-in.
Nice.
Really?
And
Really?
it turned out it was a guy that is interested in buying a house in Old Trail.
Wow.
And he knows
Nice.
John Updike, and he mentioned John Updike's name, and so Tom texted John and said, John, hey, this guy David, I don't have his contact information to give you. Some guy named the name of David who worked at at Woodbury, where John went to school and has been a pretty active alumni. Mentioned your name and blah, blah, blah. So now John's reached out to him and is going to help him hopefully find a house in Old Trail. But, shout out to Tom that, John's name was mentioned, and Tom just literally said, hey, John, hey, this guy, if you can find him, I think he's a serious buyer. So where was I going with it? Oh, yeah. So in that situation, you can do things, from afar. We heard the other day that, Matt had his first opportunity and basically with Keith and Yona's help, got all the terms and stuff for this buyer via text and then sent the stuff electronically to him. I don't think they ever were in the same place, were they, Yona? Yeah. Now, unfortunately, he lost. It was I think 5 contract property on McIntyre Road. But the point being is that, we want to try to put you in a place where you can feel comfortable doing these kinds of things. And that leads me to the next thing. May 2nd, and Vincent and I are going to work on this really in the next couple of days. We're going to do a virtual homebuyer seminar. And we're going to create an event and give you all the opportunity to invite people in to it. They will have to have the information, the Zoom meeting information to get in. We'll manage the waiting room for that. But you'll be able to market to people that Barb, we're talking about Megan. Hey, Megan, if you're free at 10 o'clock on Saturday, May 2nd, we're doing a Zoom homebuyer seminar. And Jay Dominic and Bill Tucker have already agreed to do it. And Vincent and I will, I'll sort of host it and manage the waiting room and stuff. And Vincent will be able to share the screen with the information that the speakers want to have in front of the people. But, we'll see what happens. And from my standpoint, even if nobody comes, it's something that we're going to do that nobody else has done. And therefore, it shows that we're out there trying to do things. But I think it's a great opportunity if people are home anyway. I think it's a great opportunity to try, and we'll keep it to an hour. So it'll be sort of an abbreviated scenario, but it'll give you an opportunity of people that to send it out, to put it on your Facebook pages. Tell them that they're gonna have to direct message you to get the sign information so that you can capture, the people that show an interest and be able to follow up with them. And so we'll see how that goes. A week from Saturday is the plan, and we'll keep you posted here the next couple of days. Vincent, we'll maybe talk later this afternoon and just come up with the logistics of it so that we can create the event page and do all those kind of things, and then we'll get back to everybody as to how you can go about marketing that. But what do you guys think of that idea? Go ahead,
That's
Logan.
a great idea. Thank you.
I absolutely love it. I can't tell you, I don't know how you're gearing it, whether you're gearing it towards traditional first-time home buyers, or whether you're going to try to gear it towards home buying during this pandemic. If you broaden it and you market it to home buying during this time, and maybe not leave pandemic because that's like such a negative, just home buying during this time, I feel like then some of my people might be interested. I don't have very many first-time home buyers. I
Right.
have to be perfectly honest, but I have had numerous people saying, how does it work right now? And they want to know, you know, your first showing is photography online. Everybody's online. You know, I just, you know, they want to know, you know, just obviously that's from a seller perspective, but from a buyer perspective, people don't really know, you know, for example, in the Charlottesville market, like, you know, year on year, like, what does it look like? Are we slowing down? Are we the same? And also just how to do it, whether you're a buyer or a seller. So, I mean, I'm feeling a lot of questions from friends that are curious. And so that kind of information is, I think, super sort of subconsciously great marketing, whether they're actually actively buying one and whether they come on the Zoom call or not. But I feel like that's really good information to share because
Yeah,
you're
let
really
me just-
helping people, you know, all across the board.
I don't think that'll be a problem at all. I can tell Jay and Bill both that we're going to keep it general in nature. Oftentimes we do kind of focus toward first-time buyer, but the information that we did, you know, Becky, when we did the thing out at the library in Crozet, that information can be generalized to anybody, and all three of us can. We've all already been talking about what this looks like. I mean, Jay can talk about how the lending guidelines are changing a little bit, so you have to be really careful and make sure that even if you talked to a lender a couple months ago, things have changed a little bit. And you know, Bill Tucker can talk about, you know, from contract to closing, what's different and how you do things not in person and that kind of thing. And my part at the beginning about the role of the realtor and going first and videoing. But one thing I would tell you even before that is if you go, Logan, to WINA.com and click on podcasts and go to Real Estate Matters, you could send them links. I did one about 4 or 5 weeks ago on this very thing about buying and selling in this market, in this COVID, and they're 20 minutes. And so you could send a couple links to these people who ask you questions, say, hey, here's what my broker on his radio show said about such and such. And then Bill Tucker was on this past week, and it just got posted yesterday on social media. This is what an attorney is saying about how the process is working. And so those are just a couple 20-minute videos that you could have, or podcasts that you could send to those folks, and then say, and by the way, we're going to be doing a seminar, a home buyer seminar online on May 2nd. And if you're interested, as soon as I have the information, I'd be happy to reach out to you. Becky, did you have your hand raised?
Well, I just wanted to say, I kind of agree with Logan that in these times, I think it's more important with what are we going to look like in 2 weeks, 2 months, and I really think it's all about inventory. So that really slants the conversation toward sellers. And I think they need to know just how critical our inventory is now, and it's probably going to be when we open up third week in June. So to call it a home buyer seminar, I think is like, oh, I don't need that. But I think the title needs to be much more time sensitive and urgent.
How about a
Yeah,
real estate market
I'd
seminar?
agree with you on that, Becky, except I think that's a whole nother seminar. So if this goes well, maybe the next one is a virtual home selling seminar where we do exactly that. We've got time. I'm optimistic that the governor may come back before June 10th.
I think so too.
But
Yeah.
but even if it's the middle of April, we've got time. If we do one on the 2nd, we could do another one, you know, 2 weeks later. And I think you're absolutely right. I think and again, something that Lisa and I talked about that'll be on the show Saturday is that very thing, that if you are a seller that you know, can be confident that everybody's doing the right things and that people can come in and video your house, and if people are interested, you know, they can come through, blah, blah, blah. It's a great time to have your house on the market because there's so little inventory to compete against. So if you're a seller right now that really needs to sell and can feel comfortable doing that, it's a great time. And the same thing with a buyer. If you're a buyer who's comfortable with having your agent show you it by video and then you getting a chance to see it. I mean, Maury Atkins did a contract this week from somebody from Mexico City who bought a property site physically unseen. He went and videoed it, wrote a contract, got it ratified. It's now going onward to closing. The guy's in Mexico. You know, and I think it's a lot. The person's interested in, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a house on it, but still, the more that we can be comfortable with this type of technology and communication, the more opportunities we're going to get like that. So I think you're absolutely right to, you know, and I think we can, and we can put it in the title, Logan and Becky, in regards to during this, you know, extraordinary time or something like that, so that people know that it's not just a, you know, a regular seminar, that they are going to get pertinent, timely information. Any
And
other
then
thoughts on that? Go
I
ahead.
have one more quick question just about the listing agreement that you're going to send out or that we could screen share. Is that something generic, or is that like house specific?
Just go on, just when you're talking to them about listing, you just go on the transaction desk and have it ready on your screen, and you share screen and it pulls up. I talked to a guy who's going to be joining our company. Turns out he's an old friend of my daughter's, Becca. They went to school together, but they're also very good friends with Sharon and Duke Merrick. And Sharon said, this guy's got his license, you know, he's thinking about the real estate business. So he and I talked yesterday for about an hour. And, you know, even me, I went on to, you know, Depor, got up, pulled it up, found it, and was able to figure out how to save it to a PDF and send it to him. And so I could have done the same thing when I pulled it up on Depor. If I was on a Zoom call with him, I could have literally pulled it up and walked him through it. And it was really easy. It was really easy. So that's what you would do, is you just get it pulled up. Or I guess, Vincent, in Dropbox, and in our Dropbox, you wouldn't even have to go to transaction desk because the forms are all in Dropbox, right?
Logan, did you mean listing presentation or listing agreement?
I meant listing. I thought I heard listing presentation, or maybe Becky.
Yeah,
was
but you
wrong?
said
Okay.
listing agreement.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you said listing.
Okay.
No,
Right.
listing presentation, once Vincent gets it done, it'll come out as a PDF or a PowerPoint, right, Vincent? You're muted, by the way. Vincent.
Sorry, my
That's
kid
right.
was screaming.
Yeah.
Surprise.
How would they have access to
This
the,
one for this, there'll be a link in the Agent Hub, and it will be a website for this digital component, right? The print version I can make a PDF out of as well, or we can make a PowerPoint out of that version. But that takes more time, the print stuff. I wanted to get something for you guys that could be as quick as possible and accessible as possible. So you can leave a link behind to your client after you go through it, and they can go through it on their own, right? Sometimes a PDF has to be emailed, gets lost in the email. This is a link is just easier access.
I love
And
it. I love it. Is it generic so that it can go to anybody who's listing with us, or is
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's superb. I love that.
Yeah. And the other thing is it could be changed and edited, and we can add market stats currently, right? If you have a print version, it's like one and done. With this, it's fluid. You can keep making changes.
And you would anticipate that going out initially, or
I'm working on it this week. That's
Okay.
my main focus this week. Yeah.
but Logan, in answer to your question, normally I think what I do, I mean, you could just send it out prior to the meeting, but what I would do is I would just use it like you're going there and meeting around the dining room table, and you open it up at the same time with them, you know, versus, I mean, you could send it to them first and say, this is what we're going to be talking about. It's totally up to you.
No, I definitely would rather do it. I just mean it would be early on. It's sort of general, so it'd be early on, like maybe one, you know, when they're talking about listing with you, you could then pull it up and have it at early on in the
Exactly.
process, correct? Like before you actually send the agreement, et cetera. And it would just give some information about our firm and
Yeah.
why
It's
list
just
with us.
about, it starts out as legacy, how long we've been around, about us, our success rates, the market stats, different areas of, I'm trying to remember it. The buying and selling process. So you have all this you can go through, as well as, I think it's got farms and estates in it. it's basically our listing presentation, but wrapped in more of an elegant package.
When can we get that? How quickly?
Yesterday. Yeah. So I'm
By the
just
end of the
waiting on
week?
Susan
That
Rears.
depends on this
She's-
Susan Rears, so we need to
Yeah,
we
she
need to plead
we're
with Susan
communicating.
Rears to get it back.
She is doing the edits. We were working on it together before this whole thing went down, and she has the hard copy. So I'm sending her what I have that was done electronically. She's going to make the changes, and then I'm going to develop the site.
Yeah, I think she was, in all honesty, I think she was sort of offline for a couple days because I got a email.
She was. I got an
Yeah.
email from her.
Yeah, I got an email from her last night saying she was cyber quiet. I didn't know what quite that meant, but
It means unplugged.
okay, because I had asked her about something a couple days ago, and she's usually pretty responsive. So I reached back out and said, "Did you get this?" And she said, "Oh, sorry, I've been cyber quiet." I was like, and then so anyway, I wasn't sure. what
Cyber quiet.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
wish.
I wish. Yeah.
I did
Right.
that this weekend. It was great.
I'm gonna do it this weekend, just so everybody knows.
So Logan, the URL for Real Estate Matters videos.
Yeah.
I could put it in type, but it's pretty easy. www.wina.com. WINA.com. And then you'll see up on the upper right, it'll say podcasts. You go to podcasts. I sound like I'm doing this because I do it every week on the radio show. You go to podcasts,
Yeah.
go down to Real Estate Matters,
Yep.
and then the archive of all the shows are there.
Thank you.
And there's other really good
I-
stuff in there too. I mean, like David Stevens was on a few weeks ago talking about what Brian Buffini talked about with Lawrence Yun and Ben Carson about the fact that all the numbers show that once this thing, starts coming back, it's going to come back strong. And so there's all sorts of stuff in there, encouraging but realistic. I mean, that's one of the things I said to Lisa when the show we do this coming Saturday. She did a great job of being encouraging, but she was realistic. She was not blowing smoke at people. And I really appreciated the way that she did that. So, yeah. So anyway, and then also you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Estate Matters, and you'll get a link to all my shows and prelim to the shows coming up. Anyway.
Excellent.
So last thing that I had for you today, let's see if I can do this. Probably not as well as my friend Vincent, but I asked several agents to just kind of send me some information in regards to what they're doing with their days. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is what I'm going to do is for those of you that are here and obviously Vincent, I'll send it to you and you can post it along with the recording. But these are just really good. There's 6 different agents, and Yona, thank you for submitting one. And I thought Julie was going to be on today as well, Julie Holbrook. But I just wanted you to kind of go through these. We're not going to read through the whole thing, and you're going to get this. But the point that I wanted to make is a lot of people, it's similar type of things, routine, right? This person luckily has 7 transactions to close in the next 45 to 60 days. So he's got, a bunch of stuff going on, but talking about, going to the gym, praying. And you might know who this is because it talks about dreaming of St. John.
I know who that is.
Yeah.
I didn't put it on my list.
Yeah, but you're dreaming about it too.
Oh, hell yeah.
But the whole aspect of maintaining a positive attitude, I just think is so important right now to find ways to pull you out of discouragement. And I did a blog post yesterday on what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to be bitter, or are you going to choose to be joyful? Are you going to choose to be greedy, or are you going to be choosing generosity? Kind of thing. And I just find that if I can be in that mindset of choosing the right things, that it helps me anyway, with a positive attitude. This next person, here you go, practice virtual tours. And this is Maury. As with my client in Mexico City, already under contract after doing 3 videos, downloaded them to YouTube. emailed my client the 3 links and explained them all. They were ecstatic, very comfortable, and I'm meeting a soil scientist on the lot for them this Wednesday. Talked to Paragon in regards to virtual tours. Got information about that. Working on a mail out. He practiced Skyping on both his phone and laptop again. So because he wants to be absolutely comfortable with those mediums. These are things that we can do on our own and put ourselves in a great position. Again, you might know who this is because he says that you can decide if taking naps on my floor counts. Being on Facebook, communicating in general with friends about non-real estate stuff. Maybe they're on the sense of listening to my mind, taking care of myself and staying in touch with people so I'm not too isolated. Spending time on under contract presentations, sending inventory updates to prospective buyers, freshening existing listings with different language. I love that idea, changing the language. This is a great time. You got extra time to change, put some different keywords in, to see if that, causes a spike in people viewing on it. He's working on a couple listings. Love this. Going through old files and stacks of paper to toss what's no longer needed. I don't know how many of you follow Sasha Farmer on social media, but she's going through her old paperwork, and I guess she has saved everything, and was trying to figure out what's the best way to, what do I need to keep and what do I need to throw away, and somebody just recommended you guys should just do a bonfire out in the backyard. That's so much stuff, it'll take you forever to shred it. You should have a old document bonfire. But another thing, and I've done a lot of that here at home in getting things organized and not having stacks and and that kind of stuff. Preparing mailings and Facebook presentations about recently closed transactions. You're gonna certainly know who this is. Oh, this one's just a small one, but working on new construction stuff, contacting old clients, working on a mailer, and then the kids are driving her bonkers with schoolwork and lack of entertainment. So we fish, have cooking classes, planting flowers, and they're in the process of searching for a second home to go and have a place to get away to. And then, Yona, why don't you walk through this, because they're going to know this is you. Just kind of talk about, your list.
It's just, to be honest with you, I was just trying to go ahead and be more nice to myself because I had a really tough day yesterday. So I'm just really trying to go ahead and start the day with the me time and then walk through some sort of a normal schedule before noon. However that is this either with lead generation or catching up with clients that I haven't talked to in a while. So it's just, thank you, Logan. It really, I find what I've learned, there's a lot of stuff I've learned. And one of the things I've learned that really my most productive time is in the morning up until 1 o'clock. So I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can up until then and leave the rest for the afternoon and try not to jam too much in my afternoon if I can possibly do it. And I'm working on a vision board right now.
Tell people what that is for people that might not know.
Vision board is taking a magazine and based upon what your sort of dreams are, just cut out stuff and make a board out of it that you can take a look at and kind of can dream about. So for me, it's spending time with my grandson again. So train, airplanes, and elephants and oceans. So these are sort of my vision boards that I keep with a deadline, preferably.
So interestingly enough, and I've talked about this before, but this back in the day where people had file folders, although Logan McKeithen, I love the fact that you have a file, you talked about yesterday, the file folders. I love that. And so for you, Logan, just as an idea with your vision board, have that vision board up. But one of my agents back in the day, in every file folder, when he opened it up, on the inside of the left, as you first open up on the inside left,
Mhm.
he had a picture of what that transaction was going to help him move toward, whether it was
Oh, wow. That's cool.
or
yeah.
going on vacation or new curtains or
Mhm.
a weekend at the homestead or whatever, so that when he opened it up and was frustrated or discouraged or whatever, he'd go, oh, wait, I got to get on this, because if I get this, then I'm this much closer to that thing. So the vision board up, general, great, but make it specific when you're, just as a reminder of the rewards. And it doesn't have to be a big award. You could reward yourself by just saying, we're going to, whatever it is you're going to do. Right. And so I love that. And I'm going to guess, again, putting you on the spot here for a minute, but me asking you to do this and you writing it down, I'm guessing it has put things in place that you now are more organized than you were before you did it, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's always helpful to have it in a written form.
Yeah.
It is. Mhm.
And then the other thing too about the written form is when you write it down, it changes everything. Even if you never look at it again,
Comes
when
back
you
to the
write
goal
stuff
sheets.
down, it changes everything. And then so last, and I thought she might join us this morning, but and for those of you who were on the call yesterday,
Mhm.
Julie was just really worked up about not being organized and that kind of thing. So of course I asked her to do this. And hers is this last one. I worked hard yesterday trying to set up a daily system, created this win the week worksheet to track my calls, notes, and new clients and referrals. I have a checklist to mark up my exercise, my notes, my calls, update my checklist, my daily log sheet. You can read through that. I have everything in a binder now, including notebook paper, to keep everything in place. And again, for those of you who were on the call yesterday, she talked about the fact that she went in this morning to her office and the pink piece of paper that she had written notes on the night before was no longer there.
Yeah.
She couldn't find it.
I know how that goes. Yeah.
And so yes, you can. So say that I'm back to a
Yep.
spiral binder, and I'm just writing things down. This is a list of people that are in a group that I'm in, and I've checked off how many I've contacted and that kind of thing. I just wrote down your guys' names to remind myself so that I can send out the information to you guys. Here's my notes from my video yesterday morning. I sat down and I wrote them up big enough so I could put it on the couch next to the iPad, because Becky didn't like my old backdrop. So now I've got the backdrop of our bookcase.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Becky. I appreciate your encouragement. And so it's big enough that I could read it next to the iPad. So anyway, the point being is, anything that I'm doing, I'm just writing it down, because I really appreciate what people said yesterday. We're so scattered and things are coming at us in a different way that you forget where you just were. And so I'm sitting here writing things down with circles next to it, meaning I haven't done that yet, right? And it's made a huge difference for me since I started doing this. So definitely give Julie a shout out, because I know she was wrapped around the axle yesterday. And I'm so proud of her for really working on that, and it's going to make a difference for her. There's no doubt. And the other thing too, when you get a chance, and I'm going to put this on the Agent Only Facebook page as well, but yesterday was Ann Adams' birthday. She doesn't like people to know that, right? She doesn't like to be celebrated. She never lets us get a cake for her or anything like that, but she's in there every day working for us, and it's lonely in there. She's got Sandra in there, Jeannie on Mondays and Sandra Tuesday through Thursday. But it's lonely in there, and she's not an online kind of person. And so, just if you get a chance, just drop her a note, wishing her happy birthday, telling her how much you appreciate her and all that she does. I'm gonna put that on the Agent Only Facebook page as well, because I know she doesn't go there to look at that. So that's just one person that you can reach out today and make a difference in her life. And I know that she'd really appreciate it. Any other thoughts, any other ideas, or just from the rest of you all seeing these lists, is this helpful? And have you done some of that, or how are you encouraged by it?
Well, I've worked at home for so many years that it was not a big transition, but I felt so much pressure to sort of like be more accountable to real estate. So I logged back into this blog. Well, actually, it's not a blog, it's a private platform called Realm. And I'm telling you, some of the stuff that I have learned in 3 weeks based on their luxury market mindset, and then to try to filter that down to where I am and where I really want to be this year, I was just blown away with learning things like, instead of time management, we have to look at outcome-based tasks. So instead of saying I'm going to do all this every day the same way, and I'm going to check the box and I'm going to be accountable, it's like stuff like, if you tell your clients you're going to expose their house on Facebook to, for 5 weeks, that's not outcome-based. Outcome-based would be, you're going to take an ad out on Facebook and you're going to reach 10,000 people from that ad, and your house is going to be featured, and we can expect X. So this tomorrow's is about Twitter. So I'm going to happily share that with you about Twitter is the go-to place for keyword search. That's what I learned last week, more than any other social media. So how we market ourselves on Twitter, and I hate it because it's a sewer. A lot of times the things that are said and written and lied about, but I'm going to try it again. So those are just a couple things. And then my right brain, left brain, it's just crazy. I'll come in and I'll say, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I'll just switch and go to writing a novel. But on the other hand, it's really, it's a temptation to stray when you're home, when you don't have to go anywhere. So,
Yeah, and just another quick thing for that, Becky, you're absolutely right. In regards to things that you think, you got all this time, I'm going to get all these things done. And I was talking to this young man who's going to be joining us, getting his license. He said, I said, I wish I had stock in Lowe's and Home Depot right now. He said yesterday he was in the Zion Crossroads Lowe's, and he said it was jam-packed. I mean, just so many people, and everybody was being polite and mindful, and a lot of people had masks on, and they were keeping social distancing. But everybody's got these home projects, right? That they're doing.
Yeah.
But even with that, I find that there are things that I thought I was getting a lot of time with. Like I thought I would read more books, and I did finish a book that Dottie had me read, which I enjoyed, and now I'm reading. I don't know how many of you are baseball fans, but I'm reading a book about Yogi Berra, former New York Yankee catcher. It's been fun, but I'm reading that. But I'm like a few pages, and then right before I take my nap or go to bed at night. But anyway, so the point being, a lot of things I thought I'd do, and the day just goes by. And so if you don't have these lists to make sure you get the things done you need to do, it's so easy. And Logan McKeithen, with all those people in your house, it's just so easy to get distracted. And Barb, with being close to Eric and Laura and the kids and Laura's mom and that kind of thing, it's just really easy to get distracted. But the thing I was going to say is I agree with the thing about the Twitter, but the other place that you can find out about keywords, and I've just learned this, is on Instagram. Because if you're on Instagram and you post something and you hashtag, Twitter will do this as well. But when I hashtag something on Twitter, it'll tell me how many people that it's trending right now, right? Or Instagram, and so you can literally just go in and practice. So like with my blog, Becky, I'm starting to go into Instagram first before I publish, and I'm posting some of the tag names and seeing what kind of kind of numbers they are, so that when I post the blog, I'm sort of in the time space. So anyway, not just Twitter. I'll be interested to see what Realm says about that.
The thing is about Instagram is that it's demographic. The luxury market clientele and demographic obviously is 50 and older. So they're not into Instagram like millennials. So you just have to remember who you're trying to reach, what kind of, in my case, I would rather work with an older buyer than a younger buyer. That's just me.
Yep. All right. Well, it's 10:27. I'm grateful for your time. I have recorded this, and so once it downloads, Vincent, I'll send it to you so that
Okay.
you can put it on YouTube and get it out to people. And I'll also, as I said, I made notes on who's here. I'll forward this this handout, this Word document that I did for you guys. But Vincent, once you get it, go ahead and send it out to everybody. But I'll get that
Okay.
out to you guys right away. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day.
Thanks.
Thank
as well.
you.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you all.
Great to see y'all.
Bye.
Bye
Good
now.
to see you.